about to listen to Speak Up, Show Up, Lead, the podcast, where we speak our truth, show up anyway, and lead from the front. Follow me. Let's go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Speak Up, Show Up, Lead, the podcast. I have a great guest here. We're going to talk about some wonderful things, but before we get started, I want to make sure that I put a plug in. So it's not only Speak Up, Show Up, Lead, the podcast, but I modeled the name of this podcast after my book, Speak Up, Show Up, Lead, a veteran's growth of grit, growth, and leadership from the ground up. And it's actually my story, but it's the lessons learned throughout my life. I've got a lot of good feedback on it. Please take a look at it on Amazon, Speak Up, Show Up, Lead. As I said, it's on Amazon.com. Give it a look. Leon, how are you doing today?
I am seriously good, my brother. Just so excited about this day, this afternoon being with you. I'm just looking forward to our conversations that I know we've had in the past. So,
oh man,
every
conversation with you is both mutually enjoyable and enlightening at the same time. So thank you for saying that, and I do look forward to this as well. To give the audience a little bit of background on Leon, Leon is a proud Air Force veteran with both an MBA and an MSW. He is the founder of Logical Thinking for Business Owners, a financial firm that's been helping people build smarter financial futures for over 15 years. Leon's also a real estate investor, community builder, and dedicated father of 2 college graduates. Above all, he's a man of faith and purpose, here to help others grow and succeed. You know, that right there says it all. That tells the audience how great this conversation is going to be, because all those things are wonderful, just like what we're going to talk about. But the conversation it's really about growth. It's about, we wanted to talk about how you can change your mindset to succeed in life. And a lot of that has to do with money, but not everything. So please give us a little bit of your background first, other than what we just got done talking about, and then we'll go into the actual topic. I like people to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
You know, it's always exciting to talk to individuals that have the same mindset.
Yes.
One of the things I've learned at being in the military, from going from a civilian to an active duty person, there's definitely a mind shift and a mindset that gets created, which follows you up to this point in my life. And also with me being a military brat, I've got this structure and the discipline, and that mindset has gotten me to be successful to today. So my kids, they graduated from college. I'm really excited about that. I've been around the world because I was a brat in the military with my dad. I've been pretty much, you name it, I've kind of touched it either in an aircraft or either by dependency based on my dad. But other than that, my life has been good. God has been good to me. He's given me pretty much everything I want. Even if he tells me no, it helps me to go in the right direction. Even if he puts me on hold, it makes me think about it. But nevertheless, if I had it, I'd do the same parents again, and I would do this life again as well, because it has been a blessing. And that's because I have the right mindset about things. And I truly want to share that kind of thinking today with you and your audience, because everything starts right here. And no matter how you look at it, no matter how many traumas you may have, it still starts here. So that's the conversation I really want to have about this audience to be impacted by. So thank you, sir.
Of course. Thank you. So when it comes to mindset, you spoke some very great things, and I know that you mentioned that how great Napoleon Hill was and his book, but there's more to it than that. You've gotten yourself where you are, and you help other people get to where they are, because you decided post-military to focus now on helping people understand money. And money is not just what you have in your account, it's also the way you think about it. And if you're not afraid of the goodness that money brings, then you're not going to be afraid to look at your bank account and watch it grow. So, I mean, tell us how you think about that and how you perceive that and how you help other people do the same.
Well, first of all, we have to look at our cultural history with money. Every dynamics in a demographic cultural background has a premise about money. That old saying, money's evil. Where did that come from? Because if you don't have no money, I think that's pretty evil,
Can be.
But every family has this dialogue around money to the point where they don't have a conversation about it at all.
Yeah.
And living from paycheck to paycheck is a common denominator. For example, when I was in high school, my mom worked me to death at her restaurant. And every time I got paid, she kept the money. But I was on the mindset when I got it to go and spend it. And when I got it, I'd go spend it. That's what the mindset was. I wasn't being taught to save or invest or any of those kinds of things, the power of money. So that brought me into where I am in my life prior to what I know now. Because when you're in the military, you got to make pay every 30 days. And my dad was in the military, and I watched that. When the 25th day came, our type of food was changed. So I thought that was normal. I was like, okay, cool. We eat beans for the next 4 days, this kind of thing. But I began to realize once I got exposed in this environment that money is just like a hammer in the garage. We know the mindset of that tool. We don't have to use it every day, but we know where it's at when we do need to use it. And that's what I want people to understand. The power of the money will get you the reserves, the luxuries, the legacies, the things that makes your family grow. And I'll add one more piece. When someone dies in someone's family, everybody's trying to gather money.
Yeah.
But if you leave a legacy, you don't have to gather any money. You can spend the time grieving and celebrating and memorizing that person versus how are we going to pay this debt? More people are crying about how they're paying the debt. So see the mindset that I just created for you, that if you create this kind of situation, you never have to worry about that. So I really want people to look at money as a tool. That's all, just a tool. Because if you have it, then you don't have to do things like, what we're going to do, vacation. Where are we going? Backyard, we're going to have barbecue. That's going to be the weekend staycation. Hey.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned something very interesting, about how when you don't have money, sometimes people perceive money as evil. Well, guess what? Even once I started to get money, there are people that do evil things with money. And so it's not about, if you're a good person who's trying to do good things for good people, you'll do good things with money. Money doesn't change who you are necessarily unless you listen to all that noise out there. But if you're a good person, money's only going to do good things. And there's two sides to that sword. If you don't have a lot of money, you don't require a lot of money, and you're happy, making more money is not going to make you more happy. It won't, but it takes one stressor out of your life, because I think one of the biggest things that ruin relationships, that cause problems between friends and everything else, can be money. But if you don't have that to worry about, it can enhance your life in other ways. But if you're afraid of money, or if you're afraid of it because of whatever preconceived notion that you have, you're less likely to look at it in a way that's going to benefit you.
Well, I like what you're saying. So let's take it from the Bible, because we're using Napoleon's Hill, find your passion. But the Bible talks about a tenth. It didn't say a tenth of money. It say a tenth. That tenth could be a tenth of your time, tenth of volunteering, tenth of helping somebody. It's your duty as a child of God to serve. When people hear that word, they're like, I'm serving me. Well, you keep serving you, you know what the end story is going to be.
Yeah.
But if you serve others, that word multitude comes. And that's powerful when you help more, because we know our passion as children of God is to serve.
Yep.
That's our passion. Even Napoleon Hill talks about that type of passion. Look how powerful that is. Whatever you think every day, that's what you shall be. So if you think about not having money, you will not have it. If you think debt, you will have debt. But if you think with the visionary power that God would give you, the faith, you will have the abundance of what you need to survive every day. But we don't do that because we have all sides of the noise. Oh man, how did that guy get that new Lamborghini? Well, did you go talk to him?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you didn't talk to him. You made
Right.
a lot of projectional
Yeah.
assumptions.
Well, and
And the guy, go
let's
ahead.
ask this question. How important is that Lamborghini really in the bigger scheme of things? Because a lot of people, they're looking at the shiny objects and they're so worried about getting that thing. But if you get that thing and you don't have all the other assets to take care of everything else that you're doing in your life, that thing is going to ruin all the progress that you're making. So, what are you going to do with that thing? How is that thing going to enhance your life? What are you going to what is that shiny object going to actually do for you? Because if you're not going to do good with it, if it's not going to do good for your brain to help you move forward and do great things, then that shiny object, whether it's a Lamborghini or if it's that 5,000 square foot house or whatever it is that you think is going to make you successful. I know a lot of people who
Mhm,
have those things
mhm.
and they are drowning because
Of
they weren't
course,
ready for it when they got it.
of
So
course.
you got to do the good things and then the good things will come to you. It's not the
Oh,
other way around.
oh, I totally agree because back to the mindset. Whatever you think, if that's kind of what you're going to be doing, a drug person, all they think about is trying to consume more drugs.
Oh
It
yeah.
could be any of addictions, right? But here's the dichotomy that people must really understand more importantly is that if you think what you just said and look at the vision of what you're thinking about, what is that going to do for someone else as you impact them?
Right.
Is your Lamborghini going to impact somebody else's life? No way, but yes way, because it's going to make that person feel like they need to have what you have. You might be born in a different situation, so that Lamborghini may not may be that hard for you. But then again, you don't have a relationship with anyone around you. So what's the payoff? So I say to folks, look, if you really want passion in life, reach out and make an impact on somebody's heart. They will remember you. Watch in business. If I sit down with you in business and I ask you, how's your family? And you really get in depth about that, that person's going to feel like you really care about them. What do you think they're going to do in the next conversation? Hey, Leon, I want to introduce you to two other folks that are in my circle because you said to them, I care about you. That's the mindset versus transaction, transaction, transaction. Even the Bible talks about you have to have the faith of the mustard seed. Look how small that is. If you don't think about the small things, when the big ones come, you can't manage it. I mentioned earlier that when God says to you, hey, Leon, I'm going to put you on hold a minute. But God, I want that thing now. And put you on hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people say, well, God never answered my question. He just answered my prayer. He said, I'm putting you on hold.
You know, a lot of people will say, I prayed to God and he never answered. But what they don't look at is how many opportunities to do good things come up in your life. And if you don't look at that as God answering your prayer, you're missing out on an opportunity because you're probably never going to get what you ask. You're going
Yep,
to get an opportunity to get yourself ready for that thing that you asked for.
of course.
And that's going to come in a lot. That can come in hardship.
Right.
That can come in stress, that can come in somebody coming to you that needs help and you help them. And that whole situation that surrounds that, when you put yourself at a deficit to help that person, maybe not financially, but maybe
Mm,
mentally,
mm.
if you want to have big influence, you need to be able to handle big influence.
Oh, of
And if
course.
you're not ready for that, it's not just financially. There are a lot of things that go into that. You talked about earlier how if you want that Lamborghini, how do you get that Lamborghini? You talk to the person that has a Lamborghini. Well, it's not just that one person. You got to surround yourself with all of the people who are doing all of the good things. Maybe I don't know. You can't just go with so far as to the point where you're at greed, where the only
Of
reason you're
course.
talking to these people is because you want what they have.
Right.
But those people, if you learn to think like they do, you learn to give like they do, and you
Mm.
learn how to create that impact, that they're creating, well, automatically your conversations are going to start floating in that direction anyway if you surround yourself with those people and you build a relationship. But that's what you should be focusing on rather than
Oh yeah, yeah.
the shiny object syndrome. I hate, when the whole negative outlook on money comes from the shiny object syndrome.
Of
Oh my
course,
gosh, those people have that Lamborghini. They must be a horrible person.
of course.
That's not true. They're probably doing a lot of great things that gave them the opportunity to get that Lamborghini. Maybe they're not. I mean, there are some people out there.
Yeah, yeah.
It takes all kinds. This world has all
Right,
kinds. But
right.
for the most part, if you want to get the things that you want in life, you're going to have to take all of these preconceived notions that you have, put them to the side, and give other people a chance.
Of
Go out and
course.
help other people. Surround
Yep,
yourself with great people, and
right.
likely those things will come.
Yep. And when our clients come in, one of the questions after we build rapport with them, we ask them, are you giving of yourself to your community? And most of them say, what are you talking about? I said, well, have you ever gone down to a food bank and served food to someone? And they go, why would I do that? Why would you not do that?
Yeah.
And the ones who have done it has had more gratification from it to the point they give more of their monies to those foundations because of that experience.
Oh, yeah.
You hear the word that experience, because that's what makes people change this.
Yes.
Because they haven't had the experience. Because when you walk down Skid Road, my auntie used to say, that's your uncle, that's your brother. And we always say, no, that can't be. But she was trying to make a point that you don't want to find yourself here. We're here to show you that if you come here and you give, you won't be here. And she was so right about that, because the experience versus the negative piece about it.
Right.
The
Right.
experience, right? Because you and I served in the military. When a lot of people say, how do you do that? I used to tell folks there are different types of military people within the military.
Yep.
We got all kinds. We got dentists, we got priests, we got lawyers, we got they got all their titles. It's a small city in itself. And they're there to serve each other.
They are.
They don't understand. They think we're just war machines. No. The man who helps me, I help him, and he helps others.
Yeah.
And I love that practice, because in this business with money, if you help other people, God will give it back to you 4 times. My number is 8. Imagine getting it back 8 times. This doesn't necessarily mean it could be money. It could be in your health. It could be an opportunity where a door opens that you may want something within that door or behind that door.
Yes.
We never think about it, that part. So the bottom line of the conversation is, when you find your passion has to be able to be giving. I mean, it's just the opposite. You're going to receive.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
you can't get fed if you do this. You can't hear nothing if you do this.
No.
And you sure can't see nothing if you do this.
Right. Well, now you also brought up something a few minutes ago that's very, very interesting. So once you find the people that are doing the things that have the outcome, that are living the outcome that you want, figure out what they're doing, like we've already talked about. But let's talk about vision and how important it is to not just see the outcome that you want in other people. You have to be able to picture what that is for you. Close your eyes, feel the leather on the steering wheel of that Lamborghini. Know what that volunteer experience looks like to get there. Know what that business outcome looks like to get there. Whatever the case may be, but you have to be able to see it, smell it, touch it, feel it. And once you can get so passionate about it because you've been able to have that level of vision, build yourself a vision board. I don't know. Go experience the life that somebody else is living for a little while, so you can see yourself in that platform. But once you can have that ultimate vision to get yourself there, now it's time. I mean, you got to have faith. You got to pray about it. But once you have the opportunity to start taking those steps and you can see yourself there, plan it, but start putting in the work. Because nothing even happens if you don't put in the work to get there. And by the way, you can look at the internet and see all these get rich quick schemes and everything else. And that's another form of the shiny object syndrome. Everyone's going to promise you that you can get your outcome in 90 days or 120 days or 30 days. But most of that is false.
Absolutely.
If you don't put in the work and tirelessly put in that work until you receive that outcome, be willing to sacrifice in one area to get to your desired outcome in the other. You got to look at, if we're talking about religion here, let's look back at the Bible. I mean, how many people in the Bible were promised things by Jesus and God, and it didn't happen right away? Think of Moses. How long did he have to suffer before he was given his flock?
Oh yeah.
And that's not just one person. I can name multiple stories throughout the Bible that say the same thing, but he did the work and he had the faith and he just kept going until that thing that he worked for came to him.
Yep.
You got to do the same thing in life.
Yeah. So let me help you out just a little bit. The thing I've learned in lifetime now is, first of all, you got to know where you are on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know the environment that you are presently in to make any consideration about a vision.
Yeah.
So if you're homeless, for example, because we always use that in the extreme,
sure,
you got to realize you're homeless. You can't walk around saying, "Hey, I'm a millionaire," and you're living on the street. That's something wrong up here, right?
Yes.
Because even people who are wealthy, and we both know wealthy people, the first thing they do is check this all the time. They have to know that they are wealthy. And once they realize that they are, sometimes it frightens them. Because the first thing that comes to mind is, how am I going to keep all this? Because, it can be taken away from me.
Oh, yeah. Known many people that have lost their wealth.
Oh, yeah. So there's another scarcity of mindset. So I always tell people, check where you are. And then once you know where you are, then you know what to do to move forward. So once you move forward, you might want to put some things down that you feel like you would love to do. You got to love to do it, because if you don't love to do it, you're not going to do it.
Right.
All of us say, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get a good job, blah, 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 blah. But we have no passion about it. We're just doing it because monkey do, monkey see, blah, 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 right? Now, in the military, they do this. They take us from being civilians and they make us soldiers. Discipline, 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 to the point where we know when someone gives us an order, we don't question it. We just do it because we've been trained to do that. Because a civilian would be like, well, why I got to do that? That ain't my job. I don't do that kind of stuff. The hell with you. I ain't.
Right.
So that's not the mindset in the military, right? So we take that back over to the question you have, is people have to know where they are before they even work on a vision. Because if you don't know where you are, you can't create a vision, because then you become a confused mind. And the Bible talks about a wavering man makes no distance.
Right.
So that would be my response to that question.
I think that's a good way. That's a good way to put that. I mean, if we don't understand, I mean, that's why the military started creating all these programs on mindfulness. We have to be present in the moment. I mean, the execution is important. The planning is important. The ultimate vision to get to the end is important. But if you're not checking in every once in a while, you're gonna lose track, and you're gonna veer off in a direction, and you're gonna look back and say, "How the heck did I get here?"
Yep.
And you're right. If you're homeless, you got to find somebody who's just probably a step or two above homeless, or somebody that it believes in you and would be willing to have a conversation with you and take the time to get to know you, so that maybe you can be put in a community of people that will get you pointed in the right direction. Otherwise, you're going to stay homeless.
Absolutely. I mean, let's take it really, really short. Tailgating. Now, when you go to the football game, there's tailgaters out there, maybe even a day or two before, because they have to have a certain spot, right?
Yes.
That's a mindset. And they don't even go in the stadium. Now, my mind is like, why be in the parking lot when I can be in the stadium? Right? I don't get that. I get the camaraderie, but I think I'm here for the football game or whatever it might be. It's a mindset. But here's the point of that story is that everybody in that circle thinks the same way. They can't
Yes.
wait till that particular season comes so they can go tailgate, tailgate, tailgate. Now, what happens in the next level up, those folks have their little whatever demographic activities, right? You mentioned that. The next group up, the next group up. Now, have you been to a cricket game? Most people
Yes.
are like, no, I've never been to a cricket game, but I have. The mindset of the people there are totally different than the mindset of the people at a baseball game.
Yes.
So you've got an excellent point because we can all enter those communities. There's not a community you cannot go into. Even
No.
a homeless person can go into a community, find themselves being approached by somebody who might want to reach back to them and go, hey, you look like you need some help.
Yeah.
Because you're in the environment.
Yes.
Because you've got to be the environment. Because the environment will produce what you're going to be. I mean, I always say when I went to my first sort of party in Kentucky with the pickup trucks and stuff, they had these games they were playing. I was like, wow, I never thought about that game. Where they do this little game.
Oh my gosh.
So I said to myself, this is an environment I don't want to be in.
That's some cheap entertainment right there.
There you go. See, that's what point I'm trying to make. So if you don't want to be in that environment, go to the one where you want to be in so you can have people encourage you. Because they say in Hollywood, no one becomes a celebrity by themselves.
No.
No politician becomes who they are by themselves.
Well, and
No
Leon,
minister.
it only takes one person to, if you're someplace where you enjoy the activities or the language or the conversation or whatever the case may be in that community, but you don't feel like you fit in because you don't know anybody, it only takes one person to get you introduced to everybody else. And then once that one person who's already in introduces you to everybody else, well, you're still not going to be friends with everybody, but you're going to be friends with enough people to be able to get the outcome that you want. And that outcome should be just to be part of it.
Yeah.
And then once you level up, you just keep rinsing and repeating that same cycle until you get to you're part of the community that you want to be a part of.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've heard these stories all the time. And like the woman on the roof, it's raining, it's flooding, and she's asking for help. And God sends her 7 people to help her. And she said, I'm still waiting on the Lord. I'm like the mindset. That's, you know what I'm saying? So I'll say to your audience, look, if you want to be successful, you've got to be around successful people, no matter what that level might be. There are generations of families who worked in General Motors for 7 generations. That's all they know. And so one of them says, you know what? I don't want to be making trucks. They have to break that cycle to move to the next level. And it's possible because people have done it. So none of this sort of like, oh, I can't do it, there's no way. You're just lying to yourself because no matter where you are, information is available now. You have no excuses to create your own vision, become your own entrepreneur. Look, you've got your own podcast. That didn't just come up from someplace. You said, you know what? I see that. And it's happening for you, man. You are very popular. You've got a lot of folks watching you.
Well, thank you.
So I feel privileged to be here. So that's an impact on me because after I get off of this, I'm going to tell more folks about you because I've experienced. I can't tell anybody about some Chinese food if I've never eaten any.
That's true. That's true. Well, and thank you for being a part of this. And you know, it's I mean, that's what it's all about. And you know what we're talking about here is the abundance mindset. And I think that, you know, coming back to me starting this podcast, the only reason I did it is because I see that people struggle with taking their next step in life.
Right.
And part of that is just finding somebody that believes that they can take that next step in life. And really community is what builds everything. If you can get yourself in the room with the right people, then you can get the right outcome, but it takes work. It takes belief. You have to be open-minded so that when these people come to you, you don't go, oh, well, you know, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
You listen to what they have to say.
Yeah.
Talk about what they're talking about. If you don't know anything that they're talking about, then, that's why we have two ears and one mouth. Is because we're supposed to listen more than we run our mouth anyway.
Right.
So, I mean,
Right.
if you think like that, you're going to be open to more opportunities. And then when those 7 men that see you on the roof after you just asked God for help come to you, you're going to be less likely to say, well, you're not God. You're not Jesus. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, well, not sure where you came from, but thank you so much. And
absolutely.
That is how the community is built from there.
Oh,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah. You just said the most powerful thing that I don't think people actually hear or listen, because God put us here for each other.
Yes.
You can't do this by yourself. Try to imagine doing this by yourself. There's no way to do it by yourself.
No.
But the most important thing is to realize that once you see that people are here to help you, you can open up your arms and accept the gift that God is sending through somebody else.
Yes.
It's always through someone else. I always say, if I get the same answer from 3 people, I know God's talking to me.
Yep.
On the right track. Definitely. And my brother, to your audience, don't be afraid to have a passion here for whatever it is that you want. Get it now, because when you get to heaven, Jesus is going to show you everything that you didn't ask for.
True. I believe that.
And you can't come back.
Well, no. And if it's as good as the Bible describes it, then I probably wouldn't want to anyway.
No, not me.
Once I'm going, I ain't coming back. You know what I mean? But, well, Leon, before we end the podcast, I know we've talked about a lot of success things and mindset things, but to wrap it all up, what's one thing when somebody is stuck trying to find their next step that you would share just as a powerful statement, because I know you have plenty of them, to help them get from where they are to that next level?
Oh my God. That's the most powerful question anyone has ever asked me. And here's my answer. You got to clear your mind so you can hear God talk to you. Because remember, he has a plan for you. You can't hear it because your brain is cluttered with too many shiny objects. Clear your mind and let God talk to you. I do things like this. I'll go to the beach. I'll sit on a rock and I'll just get quiet. Because when your brain is clear, you'll hear God's voice. And that's not that crazy voice. That's not that other voice. It's an actual voice of God spiritually that you will hear. That's what I'd like to leave with everyone, because everybody's heard everything. Yep. They think they have, or at least they think they've heard it. But we never clear our minds.
No.
Even when we go to bed at night, we're thinking about tomorrow.
True.
So just clear your mind and let God talk to you.
It's great advice, my friend. Thank you so much again for being a guest on the show. And just a reminder for everybody, I say it at the beginning and at the end, make sure you go to Amazon.com and check out Speak Up, Show Up, Lead. It's a great book. I've gotten great feedback on it. And if you're listening and you have purchased this book and you've read it, leave some feedback on Amazon. I would like to know more about what people actually think of this instead of just me flapping my jaws thinking I'm doing a great thing.
My brother, you're good. You're absolutely good.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, thank you again, Leon. If you want to hang out, that's fine. But for the rest of the audience, make sure wherever you see this, whether it's live or later, you like it, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're seeing it there. But the most important thing is to make sure you leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of the show. Let me know what type of topics you would like to hear. But just leave some feedback and keep the conversation going, because all of these wonderful guests that I have are amazing. All the topics that we talk about are amazing. But I don't want to be the one to say that. I want to hear it from you so that we know which direction to go. So thank you again for being a guest here, Leon. And for everybody else that's listening in, we'll see you next time.
Peace out.